4.5 years I was in the airborne.
When were you? What years were you in the service? And then tell me about the experience of being in there.
I think when I was 21 to 25, I was in Korea. Airborne in the Army was good for me. I lost my father. That left me as an orphan, you know. And, I joined the Army, and it was good for me. It kept me from dwelling on my father, you know. I still think about him. He taught me how to drive a truck when I was young. One time he told me to move the truck, and I got in, and his gun and everything, and he said, Bobby, move the truck. And then I couldn't hear him, and he said, the clutch. Oh, and I let the clutch out. Just sent the truck out of it took off. Hit the ashes all over. Big cloud of ashes, man. Well, I got out and I started running. Then finally I went home, you know. I saw he was running the Platte River, you know. But I came home, you know, and the lights were on the kitchen. I could see him, and he come out and he says, Bobby, I come in the house. I know you're out there. So I went in there, but he said I was gonna knock that ashes down anyway. So you know, he taught me everything. You know, good habits, you know, working habits. I worked alongside him during the war. We go down the alleys in the truck and pick up the cans. And the next day we come pick up the bottles. Next day, because he did a lot of junk, but that's how he made his living, you know. He was in the Army too. He was in the Army, and that's how he bought the house. The way I heard, the politicians offered guys in the men in the Army to join the Army, you know, and they promised them $600 when they got out. Well, the government didn't give them the $600 right away. You know, they just avoided it, you know. And then they had to get together and show the government some muscle and everything. And they finally gave them to them. Government finally gave all the veterans $600 like they promised. And that's how my dad bought the house, you know, where we were raised. But he was in the Army.
Were you around during the flood?
Huh?
Were you around during the Denver flood in the west side?
What?
Were you around when the flood happened in Denver?
Well, we had about 4 floods, you know. Yeah, I remember we saw water in the house empty. Well, 4 times we got flooded, you know. And, we ended up cleaning the house, and we did the water when it went down. I learned how to swim in the Platte River. Yeah. I even had a canoe. That's cool.
Was going in the Platte River, was that one of your favorite things to do growing up?
Huh?
Swimming in the Platte River, that's what all the kids would do together? They would go swim in the river?
Not too many. There's only a few of us who would swim it, you know. But so fishing it, though, we had a gunner sack, you know, and we go along the bank, underneath the bank, we catch catfish, you know. That's where they left, you know. We didn't fish with the pole. It was always with a sack, and you just catch catfish that way. And I learned how to swim there. I used to ride my bike all the way to the little tent where the water tent where the Platte River comes out of the mountains. And we still the straws that the farmers would put on their patches, you know, keep them warm, you know, and you get them and put them in the river, and pile them up, put our bikes on them, and come all the way down the river to where we lived. We would get off the rafts and let them go. That's how we got back into town. Put our bikes out there, come back here. Yeah. And I used to drag race across the viaduct too with the first car. You know, those guys. And the cops would set traps for us, but we got away all the time. The reason they caught us, me and my buddy, is because we were cleaning our car and in his house. We were parked and everything. That's when they caught us, you know. And then they said, "Hey, you guys, you're the ones that did, you know, drag racing across the viaduct." And that's all they got. They never caught us in the race, you know. They caught us cleaning our car. A lot of guys become alcoholics out of there. You know, they drink wine and all that. It messed them up, you know. I was lucky to go in the Army. It keep me busy for my father because he raised me, you know. He raised me, taught me a lot of stuff, man, you know. And gave me good working habits, you know. And when I went in the Army, it was kind of easy because I was a good soldier, I think, you know. I made rank quick, you know. And the Army taught me a lot too. And it was because of my father, you know. He gave me good working habits, you know. He's a good cook. He's a good cook. You know.
Is there any other stories you'd like to tell, or is there any other stories you'd like to tell, or information you'd like to share about the west side of Denver and just about your growing up here and the things you remember?
Do I remember?
I'm sorry?
Do I remember?
No. Just is there any other information you'd like to share about the west side of Denver and the things that were good about being here in the past?
Well, there's a lot of winos, you know. Some guys are drinking wine all day. And, I didn't go that way, you know. And I always worked because my father taught me how to work, you know. So when I was going to school, I always had a job. And I worked for Western Union too, delivering telegrams on a bike. Yeah. And I enjoyed that job. I got to see Denver, you know, I ride a bike and deliver telegrams, you know. Except for sometimes, you know, I deliver one that notify of death, you know. That part was kind of bad, you know. But most of it was business telegrams, you know. And, because at that time, Western Union a lot of people were using that to conduct their work, business. Instead of the telephone, they're using Western Union. And most of them was business wise, but there was sometimes usually there were a telegram with the news of a death in the family, which is hard to take, because I had one brother that contacted tuberculosis. That's what my brother died of. They both had it. We got it from her, and but she died of it. And my brother Frank, who got it, they cut all his ribs from one side and two from the other. Took one lung out and half of them another, so he only had half a lung to live on. And he did live a long time, At that time, I think the only way they could beat tuberculosis was to go in there and cut it out, get rid of it that way. There was no cure for it. And still, right now, there's no cure for it. The only cure for it that they got is rest, But they still haven't conquered the disease. As far as I know, they haven't conquered the disease. But they can control it through rest, And it's you can get it because it's contagious. You can get it from somebody else. They has it and coughs. And you get it. That's how it spreads. But it kills most of the people. Now, Westside was, it was a tight-knit family, I went to Fairview Elementary School. I got kicked out of kindergarten. They're fighting over a toy. We didn't have no toys, The kindergarten, they had toys. The first toys I ever seen. We got a fight for the toys over another guy. And, they sent me home. I went back to school the next day. After a good lecture from his father. After that, I was cool. I didn't miss my mother. My father was so good food, good working habits. Every Saturday we clean house.
Oh, have you had that t-shirt?
We clean house. We clean that house. Top to bottom, man.
You made it?
That's what we did on Saturdays, My dad, me, my younger brother, and that's what we did the house cleaning. And we did that during the week, but on Saturdays, we cleaned everything, make sure. My dad had a beautiful garden, beautiful yard. He had a truck, and he could do all the work himself. Model it. He had his own garage, and he had his own pit, dug. He could do all the mechanic work himself. And he was in the Army, too. That's how he got the house. $600 the government promised him if they joined. But then they tried to renege. They did for 5 years until the soldiers, ex-soldiers, started boycotting and gathering and boycotting the government, you know, protesting. And finally, they came up across with that $600. My dad used that $600 to buy the house down there, 2619 West Howard Place, right behind the west of the public service down there. Howard Street only runs from Federal to the Platte River, and then the tracks from Denver to Golden used to run in front of the house. And so we see the railroad at least once. The Westside didn't hurt me like it hurts some people, you know. Become criminals, you know. Went to prison, become winos. A lot of early because of the alcohol, and a lot of guys too. Most of the guys I know went to prison because they were poor. Some of the guys started breaking the law, you know. And, my dad taught me not to take anything that don't belong to you, you know. You want something, work for it, you know. He taught me how to do a lot of things. You know, when I become adult, a lot of things become easy for me because he taught me how to work, you know. I find an easy way to do it. When I got out of the Army, I got married. I drove a freight truck for Consolidated Freightways for 37 years. No accidents. And I was retired from that company. 37 years, no accidents. And the Teamsters are good to me, you know. I get a good pension from them. I enjoy myself. I enjoy driving a truck. It was easy for me. The fellow taught me how to drive a truck. But you know, the mechanics that work, they should like me because my truck never seen shop time. I have to take care of it when I drive it, you know. And every time they go to work on it, they're always clean, you know. Cab was always clean. They kind of talked to me because I took care of the truck, you know. I didn't mess it up, you know. The only thing we went to the shop was for service, you know, oil, gas. Any truck I drove never went to the shop, you know. I took care of it. I got to know a lot of mechanics, and they like the way I treated the truck, you know. I worked hard. A lot of guys will say, leave that work for tomorrow. I said, no, you got to do the work. Slow it down, man. There's a tomorrow festival, you know. I argue with a lot of guys because sometimes they would get lazy and really want to do the work. You know? Hey, you pay good money, do your job, man. You know? It was good to me. We're not swimming the Platte River. I still swim in there all the time. You know, it was only a block away. Well, I've been happy in my childhood. I've been happy in the army. I have a happy marriage. I really know how to convince. I went to work every day. Did this no work. 37 years. Got a pension from the Teamsters. I got a lot of things to be grateful for, and I carried all my boys are hardworking. That's my middle son here. Got an older son, he had to work today. And a young one, he is busy with his job too. But they're all good citizens. They all have good habits. Never broke the law. All lied. Never got in trouble. No alcoholics. All good family people. You know.
I haven't seen Ray in a while.
I'm very grateful for that. They're super
Ray's the
good.
oldest, right?
That's my middle son. Excuse me. That's my middle son, Michael. I'm very pleased with them. They're productive. They're all healthy. All got healthy work habits and yourself. They don't drink, smoke, something like that. That's cool. I never really put my take on it. It's just did it, you know. I thought I should throw it in bad. And they took it from there. I didn't have to discipline, you know. He just did it. I'm grateful for it.
It's amazing.
I'm very happy to get out of the west side. Have to get judo time, you know. And it's a miracle to get out of it because a lot of guys got in trouble. They went the wrong way. And it was hard to, once you went that way, it was hard to recover, you know. When you go to prison, you can't get any job when you get out, you know. Nobody wanted an ex-con to work for them, you know. I was just lucky to escape it, you know. And I'm blessed for everything that's happened to me. I fear the Lord.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Huh?
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.